Hi, this is Jerry with Orscheln Products. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to use the cable ruler in identifying a cable. So you may ask, why is it important to know how to describe a cable and how to use this card? Like many things in life, you need to be able to describe what you're after. What are the details of the cable that you have in hand? And you can take this cable in and let someone do it for you, but if you understand how to use this card, it'll help you communicate a little closer. We're going to talk about push-pull cables, much like the standard ones at the top of the cable board here. That's what this cable ruler will help you with. So step one to identifying a cable is to determine what size of cable it is. The size of the cable is determined by the rod on the ends of the push-pull cable. An easy way to do this is to use the cable ruler and just simply put the rod through the hole that it fits. In this case, this rod fits through the 3 series hole. It's a 3 series cable. Step two to determining the part number of a cable is to know what the travel is. The travel is basically the distance the cable moves. In this instance, the cable is in good working order, and you can see that the travel is the distance that the back of this nut and the end of this seal travels. Distance there. You can use the ruler on this cable ruler to basically measure that that is 1 inch of travel. The second way is to take a look at the support tube, or that we call it a sleeve. It's the tube that the rod travels in and out of. If you use the same cable ruler and measure that tube, you will see that it's around 2 inches long. Now that tube is 1 inch longer than the travel of the cable. So since the tube is 2 inches, this also means it's a 1 inch travel cable. Now the third way is to actually use the chart here to do a dimensional check on the cable to verify the travel as well. Let's just say we take this bulkhead into the cable, okay? On the diagram that shows the bulkhead fitting, the lines tell you to measure from the end of the rod seal, which is right here, to about the middle of the threads in the bulkhead fitting. So if you use your ruler and lay this down on the cable, it's just a little over 3 inches long. So following that row across on 3 series, you see there's an option for bulkhead or clamp. We're looking at the bulkhead, so stay on the top here. And the first column says 3 inches. It's pretty close. Second column says 4 inches. It's not that long, so we know that this is the distance that this cable falls in. And that is for a 1 inch travel cable. Now step 3 and 4 we'll do together, because basically that is just identifying what are the 2 fittings on the cable. Step 3, step 4. In this case, the cable has a bulkhead fitting on one end and a clamp fitting on the other. You'll notice on the card that a bulkhead fitting is indicated by the number 2. The clamp fitting, on the other hand, is indicated by a number 3. I keep it in my brain like this: a bulkhead fitting, bulkhead B, second letter of the alphabet, so it's a 2. Clamp C is a third letter, and it's a 3. So that fills in step 3 and 4. And so step 5, the final step, is basically identifying the length. At the card, it's the last digits of the box. To do a push-pull cable like this, you lay it out flat and measure from tip to tip, and that's your overall length. You would indicate that in inches on the card. So that's it. That's how you identify a cable part number. A couple things you might keep in mind is I always tell people to take a look at both ends of the cable to make sure that the rods are the same length. Sometimes, but very rarely, they can be different lengths. You want to know that if that's the case. The second thing is it could be a metric thread. You might identify that and just make mention of that. But this works for the standard push-pull cable, like I mentioned at the top of the cable board. The other kinds of cables that are also push-pull cables down below will have a very similar type of part number calculator on each page in the HP cable catalog. If you have any questions on how this works, or you need some help identifying a cable, we're glad to help. Just give us a call.